Okay, so in a previous video, I came across something that totally caught me off guard. We have this old unfinished building on our property that was built before we moved here. And it was a shocking surprise to see that the building is on the verge of completely falling over. The pillars that are supposed to hold it up are giving out, and the whole thing is moving, and it could either fall in the pond, fall into a tree, or just completely fall over onto the ground and just be totally destroyed. And I didn't want to see that happen. I was thinking it'd be nice to finish this building, but I'm not going to be able to do anything with it if it's destroyed. So instead of running away from it like a coward, I was like, all right, let's go get some block. Then I took a deep breath, and nervously set up block underneath it to temporarily support it as these pillars are giving out. Now the question is, did it work? And shortly after doing that, the building shifted a little bit more, and the weight of it was sitting on some of those blocks that I put in place.
We have to put supports on that.
Yeah, when we first put these blocks down here, it was not touching, but now it definitely is. Oh man. Woo! Good thing I did that, or it would have fallen for sure. And again, those blocks were just meant to be temporarily there. I don't expect those blocks to be the permanent stabilizers for this building. So to move forward with stabilizing what I like to call our off-grid tiny pond house, I teamed up with my brother-in-law, who's worked in masonry construction pretty much his whole life. And he came up with a plan for us to better stabilize our pond house. So as we get ready to work, together we walk through the portion of the property that is dedicated to the masonry business, where we have a lot of surplus block, brick, and other surplus items from various construction projects over the years. And over there, he had this one item that I didn't even know had been there.
Let's see if we can roll it up. Pretty heavy.
You me to try to go my way first?
Let's pick it up and set it right there. I gotta drag it. I can't get over it. There we go. Now I can get over it. I can come. You want to come my way?
Yeah, that way I got more room to step.
That was my problem down here. Ready?
Yep.
Go.
All right, now where we going?
Let's set it on that one first.
Okay.
Ready? Go.
And man, it is heavy. It's big. It's sturdy enough. It should help out with the pond house.
Are you ready? Go. Wait a minute, a little bit more.
I didn't really help him much there.
Okay.
How heavy do you think it is, Dad?
Josiah, I have no idea how much this thing weighs, but man, it is heavy.
Yeah.
It's not kind of heavy, it's heavy.
100 pounds?
If you're picking
Way
up
more
as
than
much
100 pounds.
if you're picking up as much as I am, it's in the neighborhood of 600 pounds.
Yeah, if they're both having trouble, it's heavy.
Let's go and set this in right there.
Okay, that's it. So just gotta
Give
push.
me a foot. Ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Now, I like to get my exercise and workouts in through the things that we do here on the farmstead. But as big and as heavy as this thing is, and as far as we have to go, there's no way we're carrying this large steel beam to the pond house. We definitely need some heavy equipment to move this. And with this beam being as long as it is, we have to move the forks on the skid steer as far out as possible. So that way we can maximize the potential of lifting it and making sure it stays stable. And with the forks wide, Hazen, as best as he can, tries to center the tractor in the center of this beam for balance. And the skid steer lifts this beam with ease. Now, we just got to get to the other side of the property without destroying anything with this beam. Now, driving on the driveway with this is the easy part, but it will only get more challenging from here. Because going off the driveway, there's a lot of uneven terrain. So let's just see if this beam stays on there.
Alright, still moving, still moving.
And as he's carrying the beam, I follow along as best I can, just in case he needs me. Okay, so far, so good. Next, we gotta go not over the river, but through the woods, not to Grandma's house, but to the pond house. And this was the hardest part, maneuvering through the trees in the woods here. And he hit a couple trees, but it's still on there. Then bam, we didn't get it on camera, but he hit one of the trees and it knocked the beam off the forks. So he has the beam back on the forks, and I remove what items I can out of his way. And Hazen continues on maneuvering again around the trees. Almost there. Woohoo! We made it! Man, whoo! And once we stop, my son Micah talks about feeling the beam when it dropped.
Hey Dad, when that fell, we could feel the ground shaking from over here.
Really?
And since we had the skid steer over there, Hazen was like, let's just see if I can knock some of these trees over. So he knocked a few over and kind of moved them out of the way. But he tried using the beam to knock over this one tree. But this tree wasn't happy. Let's just say it didn't want to cooperate. And then it was time to get back to the beam. And with Hazen's expertise, I had no problem at all with him taking the lead on this project. I had no problem at all with following his direction. But I do know that there's some people out there that they just can't follow anybody. It's like their way right away at Burger King now on everything. But if you're one of those kind of people that struggle with that, I know some people, we all struggle with that to some degree or another. But if you are one of those people, let me know in the comment section below. It's important that we all learn to lead properly. And this is something that I try to instill in our children as well, because to be godly leaders, we also have to be godly followers first.
Slide this way first.
Yeah,
then come around.
let's take that 4x4 or that 4x6 right there. Yeah. We'll use it like a rail. Put it like right here. I think you can go from there. Yeah, either one's fine. I think it's perfect.
And instead of trying to slide this big, heavy steel beam on the ground, having that 4x6 in place should allow us to be able to slide the steel beam closer to underneath the pond house. Should.
Straight to you, ready?
Go. Nothing else underneath on this side?
Yeah.
Keep it off the ground.
Let's put this one on under there.
And the plan isn't to have the steel beam sitting on the ground, but instead having it sitting underneath the pond house on top of something that is strong and water resistant.
Yep.
So we decided to use these heavy stones.
A little bit this way.
Ready? I think so. Okay. All right, I got it. Okay. Watch your foot. I'm with you. I'm moving. Okay. Now see.
And both of us have past injuries that we're being careful not to re-injure or hurt. I tore my left bicep last year, and Hazen was dealing with a knee issue.
Okay, yep. I was in a bad spot for that knee. Okay, come on this way.
Are we flipping it over?
Yeah, let's just let it drop.
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't clear.
That's all right. I still want it to drop on your foot.
Appreciate that.
Time to move the beam a little bit more. But before we can move forward anymore, Hazen noticed something.
Let's go ahead and put some of those granite blocks under there and get those back in scotched. Because when we start doing anything here, it might just fall down.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that to happen. So the boys went and got us some tools, and we clean out and level out a spot in the front of the pond house where Hazen was talking about.
Micah, bring me one of the shovels, please.
Then it was time to lift some stones again and put them there.
Let's take that piece and flip it over and put it, we'll slide it right there where we cleaned out. Let's drop it over the block.
You taking your knee? I'm taking my butt.
Yeah, you're ready?
Yep.
Go.
Okay. And after the stone, then it was a block on top of that, and then a 4x6 on top of that, just for extra security for the riskier things that were to come. Now, I like to get my kids involved whenever I can with projects like these. But my son Micah in particular really tries to get involved. He just likes to be hands-on as much as he can. Just like with here, trying to help with hammering this in. But he just doesn't have the strength quite yet for getting it in place.
Let your daddy have a shot at it.
It's moving. But it would help if you would lift it up a little bit for him.
Oh yeah, just a little, if you can.
Hazen, pick the building up. Come on, Uncle Hazen, you can do it.
It would be a lot easier and a lot faster if he could just lift the building up. Not this time. Maybe next time.
Okay, use this one, Mike. Here's 2.
It's all the way under now.
And then from there, it's time to do the same thing on the other side. Then it's like, yes, stone makes me feel strong. Yeah, so I was like, I want to push myself a little bit. I want to do this other side, try to move this stone as much as I can by myself, as close to in place as I can get it. And I got it close, but I did not want to smash my fingers. So I'm like, Hazen, help me out a little bit here. Let's work together. And lifting those stones makes me think about how some of the stonemasons, especially way back in the day when they was just like, there wasn't this heavy equipment, it was just muscle power, how they had like this super grip, man, because lifting these stones is not easy and definitely builds strength.
Yep. Ready? Yep.
Yeah, we'll hold it.
Now,
That block?
yeah, we need a block and a piece of wood.
And with the stone and the block and the piece of wood on top, when we placed those on each sides of the front, we made sure that they covered at least 2 floor joists. And with that front side even more secure, we moved back to the steel beam.
How far? Keep going. Let's come in now. Okay.
Did I stick this through the middle just so we're not hitting the ground?
Well, that's why I was getting ready. I was getting ready to take that 2 by. Actually, I tell you what. I'll hold this. How about taking that and go to the middle and slide it in, and
That's
we'll
what
slide
I
on
was
a piece of wood. Yeah. We're I thought you meant the granite. And I'm
No,
like,
no.
you can.
I wish I could do that.
Would it be cool if you could take the pine half up?
Maybe about here.
Yeah, a little bit farther. Okay, keep on coming. Mike, stand all the way up on it. Right there. Just slide it right in and just let it roll the ground. Yep, that's it. Yeah, let's go straight on in. All right, ready? Ready. That wood so much grippier. That is an exercise in coefficient of friction. All right.
A little bit more.
Here. That's it. Okay.
I thought it felt like I hit something to the ground. Is that what? All right, we got the beam underneath the house now, but it has to be touching the floor joist. So we brought over some more stone to help lift up that beam so it's coming into contact with the floor joist.
My hand first or yours? Yep, you take your hand in. Actually, we'll go right here. Let's go. Go. That's tree now. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Go. A little bit more. Go. Okay.
And all 3 of my older kids have helped out with videoing to some degree for these vlogs. And on this particular project, Selah, my oldest, who does a great job and who's used the cameras the most after me in the family, who's usually spot on. She gets great pictures. She's taken pictures for Murray McMurray catalog, and she's also helped out in so many ways with recording these videos, who's usually spot on and stable. I kidded with her that, were you nervous when we were working? Because the camera was way shakier than it normally is. I even asked her about it. Thank you for being my videographer and photographer.
You're welcome.
But let me ask you, were you nervous when Hazen and I were working? Because it was like, I see shots where he was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, I could say I was more than a bit nervous.
What did you think was going to happen?
I don't know, it's gonna fall or something?
You thought the beam was going to flip on us or something, and then the house was going to fall on us? I was editing some of those shots, and you just like, oh, I love you though.
Love you too.
And I even texted you asking it about it. But honestly, she wasn't the only one that was nervous. I was nervous at different points, but the time that I was most nervous was when Hazen went underneath the house to dig out under there before we had the steel beam fully in place. I'm like, come on, Hazen, come on, get out from under there.
This is why we do mobility work, right?
Real life functional fitness right here.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Then I was relieved when he got out of there, and then after that, we went ahead and put in the stones in that place where he dug underneath.
Fine for me. Let me use this. Tell me when you're ready. And go. That's it.
And let me tell you, doing all this today, we definitely got a forearm, bicep, tricep, a little bit of shoulders and core workout in today for sure.
This is actually going really well.
Ready? You're ready. Go.
And go. Ready? Okay. Hey, if I eyeball it, can you pick it up one time?
Yeah, I sure can. But then as we tried to lift up the steel beam on top of the stone, it wouldn't fit.
Okay.
So now we have to figure out, how are we going to jack this house up to get this beam underneath? But Hazen said he had an idea. Instead of using jacks, let's try this. So he starts lifting the building with the skid steer. Oh man, hope everything that we put in place, all that block stone and everything else, holds while we're doing this. And then as he's lifting it up, all I have to do is slide the stones over just a little bit, so that way the beam will be able to sit on top of the stone. We got it! Got it! Woo! Woo, man! And then as he's backing out, I flinch because I think something's falling on me. Like a tree's falling. Whew, man, I was so nervous. I thought things were falling, the building falling, trees falling. I don't know. Whew. Where's it coming from? What? I heard you shaking the tree and I thought something was falling. So step 2 of stabilizing our off-grid tiny pond house complete. And I could not have done this alone. We appreciate you helping out with this.
You're very welcome.
But stay tuned, because what we do next with Hazen stresses me out even more than what we've already done.